Welcome to 0 to 6 tomorrow once again for another car episode. Today's lesson, we're basically going to look at the small hatchback family. This is a 2015 Toyota Auris, and if you want to purchase a small hatchback, you will be spoiled for choice. Because apart from the Toyota Auris, you have the VW Golf, you have the Mazda 3, you have the Subaru Impreza, and the Mitsubishi Galant Sportback. So welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe so that you become part and parcel of us, because we normally do car reviews like this one, and we also shoot car maintenance tips. So if you want to purchase a car, or you basically want to know the maintenance aspect of some car, you can ring us or actually message us. We are going to give you information that will make your car ownership journey easy. Now, let's start with the exterior design of this 2015 Toyota Auris. Coming from the previous generation, the Toyota Auris actually received a major redesign. It's actually a totally different car. If you can look at it, look at these headlights. They're actually pretty slim. You have these chrome finishes here and a very small grille, actually chrome finishes even at this front alongside the fog lights. It's actually a very sleek offering. When you're looking at this car from from a side profile, you have these lines stretching all the way from the back to the front, which improve the overall execution of this car matters aesthetics. You have side mirror winkers here, and then these wheels are actually 16-inch alloy wheels. If you get a higher trim, it actually comes with bigger wheels, 17-inch alloy wheels. Now when you're looking at the over execution of this car, it's actually a beautiful offering, but then you may find cars like the VW Golf or the Mazda Axela being slightly better. But then people who know how the previous generation Toyota Auris used to look like will appreciate these are redesigned. It's a very, it's a good car if you ask me. Welcome to the cockpit of this 2015 Toyota Auris. Now, looking at the competition in this class cars like the VW Golf and the Mazda Axela, this interior may look a little bit old school and dated, but then everything here is actually pretty simple to use. There are buttons all over which are very easy to use. But then when you're looking at the interior execution, if you're someone who wants something premium, you better look at the Mazda 3 or the Mazda Axela or the VW Golf, because the interior crafting may somewhat put a smile on your face. Because when you're looking at this car, let me basically start by describing the features. The steering wheel, of course, has a steering control buttons. On the left side, we have these volume control buttons. And then on the right side, this one is basically menu buttons to show you the kilometers or the distance, the trip that is. When you're looking at the center console here, you don't have anything much. This gear knob, of course, looks pretty good. And then you have this traction control button. The handbrake here, of course, is the traditional manual one. And then you are looking at the infotainment screen. It is basically, it has cheap graphics. Of course, you have a Bluetooth connectivity, you have auxiliary port, and then the climate control buttons here are actually pretty easy to use because they are buttons, not touch. So in case you are in the car and you're traveling, you are doing your high speeds, it's pretty easy to use. The steering wheel of this car, of course, it's telescopic. It has plenty of adjustments so that you can easily find your driving position. Extra features in this car include this collision mitigation system, and then this car is a push to start. Then there's not much features in this car. On the steering wheel, you also have this lane assist. You can also call it lane departure warning. So basically, when you are looking at the technological features in this car, it actually, the car is at the bottom end of the class, because there's not much things you can say here. Because in something like a Mazda 3, you'll be looking at things like a heads-up display, cruise control. But this one is actually, it targets those people who just want a minimalist interior, not much. But the good thing is, everything here is pretty simple to use. Let's talk about the spacing, the accommodation of this 2015 Toyota Auris. Now when you're looking at my sitting position, this is my driving position. You can see I have like a 5 to 10 centimeters of headroom, which is pretty good. The knee room is not that bad. People seated at the front of this car may not have a problem, because as you can see, you still have plenty of adjustments. You have a good amount of knee room for the driver's position. Now let me maintain this driving position, and then we see if the rear seats are they that accommodative. Now coming to the second row seat of this Toyota Auris, you realize that there is not much of knee room, but at least I'll say this car is more slightly spacious than a Mazda Axela, especially in the second row seat. But then headroom, it's also pretty similar to what you're finding in the Mazda Axela. But if you want an accommodative car, this is not the best. A Subaru Impreza or a VW Golf or even the Mitsubishi Galant Sportback, they are more roomier in the rear seats. Unless and otherwise you want to hold people in these rear seats, it may not be a deal breaker, especially if you don't hold people most of the time. But then the Golfer, Mitsubishi Galant, and then the Impreza, they are somewhat more accommodative. If the person driving this car is taller than me, of course you're going to have challenges in this second row seat. If I'm to compare this car with something like a Honda Fit, actually the Honda Fit may actually give this car and the Mazda Axela a run for their money when it comes to the second row seating space. Let's see, how about the trunk space? Is it that accommodative for your luggage? Now, when you're looking at the trunk space, the boot space of this 2015 Toyota Auris, of course it's not the roomiest car in the class, because this is the amount of boot space you have. Of course it's somewhat smaller than what you're finding in something like the VW Golf, but then even below this carpet you don't have any room. And actually this car doesn't come with a spare wheel. All you have is a repair kit for in case your tire develops a problem, but you can remove this thing, the whole of it, and fit a donut spare wheel. So when you're looking at this car, matters are the spacing, that is the interior room, the knee room, the headroom, the second row seating, and the boot. It's not the best of the class. Actually, I've already said the Golf, Galant, and the Impreza, they are somewhat better when it comes to accommodation and the capability to hold luggage. Now, if you want to purchase a 2015 Toyota Auris, there are 3 engine options to pick from. This is the entry level 1NZF. It's a 1500cc petrol engine, natural aspirated. This is the most common engine of the bunch. Now, aside from this one, we also have a 1.2 liter turbocharged petrol engine from 2016, and then the top of the range is normally a 1.8 liter petrol. It's actually punchier than everything else in the class. That is actually a very good engine to consider. It's let me say that 1.8 liter is the same engine you are finding in the Toyota Premio, the X variant, and the Allion A18. Now, the 1NZF 1500cc, this one, the base engine, it's actually known for its bulletproof reliability. It's actually a very pretty simple engine to live with. Matters are reliability. And then we're looking at fuel economy of this engine of this car. This 1.5 liter is normally married to a CVT gearbox driving the front wheels, so you will be looking at fuel economy figures in the region of 15 to 17 kilometers per liter. That is if it's being driven sensibly. In this class, you are basically looking at fuel economy and reliability. It's not a car that is going to compete with something like a VW Golf when it comes to the driving dynamics. Now, the 1.2 liter actually turbocharged petrol engine is better than this one. Of course, I've not had any issues with it when it comes to reliability, but then I know this engine is the most reliable engine in the segment. Of course, if you want something that is fun to drive, the 1.2 liter turbo may be better, and at the top of the range, the 1.8 liter, it's actually sometimes it's normally paired with a 6-speed manual transmission, which makes it the best engine to have, especially if you value driving pleasure. Should you buy the 2015 Toyota Auris? Now, when you're looking at the competition, something like a Mazda Axela or the Mazda 3, it has a better interior styling, and it's actually better to drive on the road. The Volkswagen Golf, that's a 1.4 TSI, will give this car run for its money when it comes to the interior space and even driving dynamics. Now, the only reason you're going to buy a 2015 Toyota Auris, it's because of its dependability. The 1NZF here is actually a very pretty solid engine to live with, and then even for the 1.8 liter, it's also very solid to live with. So you can put this car on your priority list if you want something with low ownership cost. Of course, the competition is going to be better in aesthetics and in driving dynamics, but this is a very simple car to live with when it comes to reliability and low ownership cost. That is why it steals the show. So guys, I think you've now known more about the 2015 Toyota Auris. When we'll be taking this car on the road, we'll also be giving you more insights on how it behaves on the road. But having driven the 1.8 liter, I'll actually say it's a very good car to drive on the road. Matter stability, of course, not as good as the VW Golf. All right, guys, I think that is enough for today. See you on the next one. If you are new here on this channel, please subscribe to this channel, and you can also take this chance to check all our other videos. Let's catch up on the next one.